Candace Owens once again tried to debunk Nick Shirley and got absolutely toasted for it. We will be showing you the full beatdown on the show today, and if that wasn't enough, Candace also gets exposed for milking Charlie Kirk's assassination in a brutal compilation. We will be also showing that. Stick around to the end of the show as well, because Benjamin Netanyahu went on 60 Minutes and said Israel is done taking foreign aid from the U.S. So one of the common themes of Candace Owens' show is that she promises the smoking gun in Charlie Kirk's assassination case over and over and over again. But what I think a lot of people have forgotten is just how long and how many times she has done this. So Nathan Livingston, bless his heart, just came out with a brutal video that proves this. Take a look.
But it does feel like you are drip feeding us the information that you have about Charlie's death and the betrayals around him, episode by episode. Are you unable to lay it out all at once for us? Yes, I am obviously drip feeding. There's another theory that I'm still looking into that has been presented that I think is definitely interesting. Probably we'll have more on that maybe tomorrow or the next day. Another piece of this puzzle that I find to be fascinating. I will have more for you guys next week. We'll have more for you tomorrow. We will have more for you tomorrow. Some other stuff that I've been holding close to my chest. So much more is going to be exposed, and we're going to get into that more tomorrow. Incredibly interesting, and we're going to get more into that in tomorrow's episode. Holiday thing, which I'll get into tomorrow. We're going to get into a Russian and Ukrainian angle here for some reason, some way, somehow. We'll see. See you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to jump back into the timeline because I've got some amazing little factoids to add to it. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have more explosive information and revelations. Again, we're working on a very, very big lead tomorrow that I believe that we should be able to present tomorrow. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow I will show you. I was having recurring dreams about the fact that he was betrayed, and we will jump more into that narrative tomorrow. Something happened at Fort Huachuca. And tomorrow we're going to dive deeper. We're going to get into that tomorrow, because tomorrow we're obviously going to get into her pageant days. And I will tell you more about that tomorrow. He actually said more than that, actually. But we're fishing, right? So let's be patient. I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit over a week. Been intentionally setting bait, giving a little bit of information. Oh, I spent time setting a lot of bait. A lot of bait has been set. And we'll see what we get. A lot's going to be revealed, like I said. Even that I've been sitting on for a while, and I will have more for you on that next week. To be clear, I might actually release a name every day this week. It's only Monday, folks. I've actually discovered a lot more, but it's only Monday. We've discovered more, by the way, but it's only Tuesday. So we'll give you more. We'll give you more tomorrow. Anyways, more on that later. More on that later. We'll have more on that later. More on that later. More on that later. Like I said, more on that later. More on that later. I'll have a timeline for you. We will have more on Robbie Hild on Monday. But that, I promise you, I will actually have on Monday. So yeah, it's getting very interesting. We'll see you guys then. The truth is going to come out. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I am going to get to the bottom of why he lost his life and who was behind it. So stay tuned. And I expect that when we get back, I'm going to have even more explosive revelations for you. We're absolutely doing this for Charlie Kirk. I hate to leave you on a cliffhanger. I don't actually hate to leave you on a cliffhanger. It brings you back. We'll see you tomorrow.
It is truly shocking to me that she still has fans that tune into every single episode and don't see that as a red flag. They do not see that and think it's a bad thing. Candace is obviously a false prophet, a cult leader. This is what they do. They keep promising, they never fulfill. But the disguise that she puts on every morning is an investigative journalist. That's what she tries to prove to her audience. To anyone outside of her audience, we see it as a joke. And that is where we're going to focus today's show. Candace Owens wants to be the ultimate investigative journalist while not doing any investigative journalism at all. All she does is sit in her studio and takes anonymous tips from her fans that she doesn't vet at all. Sometimes she just makes up data points. And part of her plan to look like an investigative journalist is to attack the real people who are doing investigative journalism. Because if those people are around, it is very apparent that Candace does not resemble them at all. And it's very easy to prove she's a phony just by comparing her to them side by side. So one of these people that she is trying to discredit right now is Nick Shirley. Probably one of the best investigative journalists right now in the world. Here was Candace from a couple of months ago saying she didn't believe the work that he was doing.
Largest favela in a destroyed house, interviewing gang members of one of the largest gangs in Brazil.
Okay, I'm just going to say I don't believe that at all. I'm sorry. I just, it's so stupid. I'm not even gonna tell you why I don't believe it. It's like if you don't know that that's stupid, that he infiltrated the gang in 48 hours. It's just, that's so dumb. I'm so tired of dumb. That's not how that works, okay? You don't just go up to gangs on the street as a nice-looking white boy with a camera and say, hey, I just wanted to sort of see what you're doing here. What's going on?
It is dumb to Candace because she does not understand investigative journalism. As I'll show you, Nick claps back. He tweeted this out, replying to Candace Owens, said, here you go, Candace. Here is the full favela video that you cannot comprehend is real, lol. More dangerous than any of your, quote, family reunions, I'd hope. Didn't know you were built so favela-like and dangerous, but respect. So he's making fun of her. I'll show you the clip that he's making fun of in just a second, but he's making fun of her for essentially coming out and just saying she does not understand what Nick is capable of doing. Nick also talked about Candace recently on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. Here is Candace reacting to that.
She's saying that's fake.
She's saying that's fake.
And I'm like, well, maybe if these podcasters would actually leave their podcast studios, no offense, Pat, they leave their podcast studios and go and do journalism, they'd actually see stuff just sometimes just happens.
It was that last part that really sent me because it's just so LOL. And then this whole why don't you try to do real journalism and leave your basement from podcasting? Alex Clark kind of backed this up too because she can't miss an opportunity. Turning Point can't miss an opportunity because I think I took from them what they believe is rightfully theirs. But she wrote this: Nick Shirley is a real journalist. Candace Owens is not. Oh, okay. So we're in a podcast. We're in the basement. Hey, Nick. So the reason why we know that doesn't make sense actually is because you have to be the most sheltered person in the world to even have to need it to be explained to you why that's not plausible, okay? It's not a job, okay? People just live in these scenarios. People, literally, I have five-year-olds in my family who have seen more and lived through more than you've probably ever lived through in your life. The circumstance itself did not happen. And I cannot tell you how much it frustrates me that you're pretending that I'm coming from a position of privilege when it's actually the exact opposite. You couldn't do this in Chicago. You couldn't do this in Detroit. Forget in a favela in Brazil. Places like that, which I have Brazilians in my family, you don't even go to parts in Brazil without having someone who is from that place and from that neighborhood. So no, it's not about podcasting in my basement. I actually lived a lot of life, Nick Shirley, before I got to podcasting in my basement, before I was married, before I had children. In fact, I moved down to South America for 2 months to learn Spanish with very strict instructions. The school that I enrolled in, don't wear any jewelry, don't wear any makeup, don't look American. You don't just go down there, as I said, and why I'm pointing out the fact that you are a white boy is because you don't look like them. The whole idea when you're down there is to blend in, not to come with the camera, a Mormon kid from Utah with the camera. Hey, what's the most dangerous game in this favela? Can I infiltrate in 48 hours? It just didn't happen. It didn't even kind of happen.
Nick is absolutely right. I am sitting in my basement right now, and I can say that the work that Nick Shirley is doing way more important than my podcast. Really, I can really honestly say that. I think we talk about important things on this show. What Nick Shirley is doing on another level. Not even close. If I could say, listen to my show or Nick Shirley, if you only have 30 minutes to listen to something, go listen to Nick Shirley. For real. He is on the ground doing the work. He's fantastic. And Candace knows that too. But you can see in that video, it cuts her to the core. She is offended. She lashes out. Instead of just humbly agreeing, it's not hard. Look at what he's done. Look at how Tim Walz stepped down from his candidacy because of what he's done. He has had real impact in America. But instead of just admitting that, she doubles down because she's a narcissist. And you can see in that video, she is really ticked that she's been called out by someone who is actually doing the work that she pretends to be doing. As I've talked about in the past, kind of addressing exactly what Candace said, Candace does not understand who Nick Shirley is. Nick Shirley, like myself, a Utah boy. He actually went to school with my wife. He, grew up very close to where I'm living right now. And he served a Spanish-speaking mission, also like myself. And anyone who has served a mission knows that talking to gangs is very easy. It's really not that hard, especially if you speak the language they speak, or, if it's Portuguese and Spanish like the favelas, it's basically the same thing. It's really not that hard to communicate with a Portuguese speaker, especially if it's Brazilian Portuguese. I'm not sure about Portugal Portuguese. I'm sure that's a little different. Frankly, I don't know how well I'd be able to speak to, a Spaniard, since my Spanish is learned from Mexico. So even the same languages, it's hard enough. But anyone who served a mission knows talking to gangs is very easy. It's one of the largest groups we talk to on our missions, frankly. If you can't speak Spanish, they can be dangerous. I understand why Candace Owens is looking at this and saying, how does someone talk to the favelas? But for the most part, so long as you speak Spanish, their language, and you're kind of just chill and you have a local with you that contacts the gang, you're good. Like, this is not hard to believe at all. They're willing to talk to you. They want to be on camera. They want to show what they do. Many of them are super chill, just being totally honest. Some of them are really scary. I would not go to the Nueva Generacion cartel in Michoacan, for example. That would probably get Nick Shirley killed. But there are other ones that are a lot more chill, and they have certain incentives, and if you can find out what those are, you can exploit them for good investigative journalism. That's what Nick Shirley did. Again, Candace would know that if she had ever done investigative work, but she hasn't. She's so ignorant to how real investigative journalism works that Nick's work just confounds her. She sees it and cannot believe it. She cannot believe that real work could actually be done like that because she knows that her work is fraudulent. That's what's so funny about this. Her only conclusion, therefore, is that Nick is also fraudulent. She is projecting. She's seeing this feat that he has pulled off. And she is comparing herself to him, thinking, but I've done amazing things, and I know that I'm fraudulent, so he must be fraudulent too. And unknowingly, she admits that she's a fraud and that she knows she's a fraud. So I think it gives us a really good window into who she is, how she thinks. Again, we need more Nick Shirleys. We need less Candace Owens. Guys, I've had a lot of sponsors on the show, but none of them have been as tasty as Pancake Now. I showed you last week. These are all the flavors that I have. They've got Pancake Now, cookies, and cream. They're empty because I ate all of them. Right here, we've got chocolate, peanut butter. Right here, we've got cinnamon swirl. They are so good. Clean label ingredients. Great for breakfast. These babies pack only 260 calories, and they actually fill you up. Right now, I'm going through a cut. They're really good if you want something a little sweet, but still healthy. They have no synthetic preservatives. All ingredients are allowed in Whole Foods. They are ready to eat. It is shelf stable. There is really nothing like it on the market right now that stays soft like it does for over 1 month. You can eat it hot. You can eat it cold. They're so good for kids. But, if you want to just save them for yourself, I wouldn't blame you. That's what I do. Again, they use monk fruit to keep the sugar content low. There is no high fructose corn syrup. Tastes like there would be around 25 grams of sugar in it, but there is not. It is all sweetened with maple syrup and monk fruit. Fantastic. Go check them out right now at pancakenow.com. I put a link in the description below as well. Benjamin Netanyahu just went on 60 Minutes and it has gone viral. Specifically for this clip I'm going to show you here, Bibi is asked if he thinks the U.S. should keep giving Israel money, and here's what he says.
Do you believe it's time for the state of Israel to re-examine and possibly reset its financial relationship to the United States, meaning what the United States provides to Israel on an annual basis?
Absolutely. I've said this to President Trump. I've said it to our own people. Their jaws dropped. But I said, look.
Well, what do you mean? What are you saying?
I want to draw down to zero the American financial support, the financial component of the military cooperation that we have. Because we receive $3.8 billion a year. And I think that it's time that we weaned ourselves from the remaining military support.
Can you give me a timetable?
I said, let's start now and do it over the next decade, over the next 10 years, but I want to start now. I don't want to wait for the next Congress. I want to start now.
So before I show you the next clip, I want to say this is honestly my position on Israel as well. I personally really believe that the U.S.-Israeli alliance is incredibly important, but I think the U.S. needs to reposition itself with Israel into a, frankly, more strong alliance with security guarantees. I think there should be security guarantees for Israel. I think what the U.S. gets out of that is fantastic intel, and I think an ally in the Middle East is fantastic, considering we don't have any other allies like Israel. The intelligence cooperation is something that needs to remain steady, but without the dollar amount. Because while it's true that Israel gives most of our foreign aid back in the form of weapons payments, my fear for this is that this is a way for United States senators to essentially launder money through Israel back to the military-industrial complex. Again, not really Israel's fault. It's the military-industrial complex's fault. And I think Netanyahu sees that, and he's seeing the PR against them because of the money we send him, and he's thinking, we don't need it, we don't want it. When I was in Israel, the people there were incredibly nice. They all love Americans. Another reason why I want to be allied with Israel, by the way. Show me another group of people in that area, or frankly, like anywhere in the world, that loves America as much as they do. It's pretty simple. If they love America, probably just align with them. But they love Americans, but some of them did talk to me about feeling like a colony. Like they weren't really their own sovereign nation. So if I were Israeli, I'm not, I'm just American. But if I were an Israeli, frankly, I would want to stop getting aid from America because America largely controls Israel because of it. It's kind of funny. People out there talk about how Donald Trump is controlled by Israel. I've debated people about this in the past. We have tremendous leverage over Israel because of the money we send them. And Trump routinely makes them do things they would rather not do. So it is quite the opposite of what Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens and Thomas Massie and all of those people say. It is Trump controlling Israel. If I was Israel, I wouldn't want that. So I think weaning them off while solidifying our alliance in other ways could be quite mutually beneficial. Another part of the 60 Minutes interview that enraged many of the anti-Israel podcasters was this part where Netanyahu said bots were attacking Israel online. Here's a clip from Megyn Kelly's show of him saying that.
That basically manipulated social media with bot farms, with fake addresses to break the American sympathy to Israel, to break the American-Israeli alliance because they think it's in their interests. And they do it in a clever way. You know, it's like you hear a text message. I'm a red-blooded Texan. I always supported Israel, but I can't stand what they're doing. I'm turning against Israel. And then you trace the address to some basement in Pakistan, you know. And that's something that has hurt us badly.
Now, this enraged many people, including Megyn Kelly, who said that this was just baseless, that he was just saying this and that what he was really doing was discrediting true Americans who hate Israel. That is total BS. This has been widely documented. The anti-Israel online space is majority Pakistani bots. It is very clear. There's been very clear metadata analyses on this. We can see that most of the hate is coming from Malaysia, from Pakistan, and Iran is trying to also, I think, you know, we haven't seen the metadata track back to Iran, but I think there's a lot of data out there showing that Iran has actually paid these data centers in Pakistan to funnel the hate and the division online when it comes to the U.S.-Israeli alliance. In addition to this 60-minute interview, the Daily Mail came out with a very harrowing piece on their website that I wanted to share with you guys. It's a new report that details what Hamas did to many of the women who were abducted on October 7th. And the reason I want to share this with you is because one of the things that people who are against the Israeli-U.S. alliance say is that Israel is not justified in going after the terrorists in the region, and that Israel is really the nefarious force, that they are the real violent ones, the real terrorists, and that Israel is the real instigator. This article disproves it. And I'm just going to share a piece of it with you, and then I'll show you where to find it because it's 180 pages long. But fair warning, I will have to censor some of the things in the article so YouTube does not censor this video. It is quite brutal stuff. So this is from the Daily Mail. They have summarized this, again, 180-page article. And it starts off like this. Among the mutilated and butchered bodies of young women slaughtered on October 7th, it was their colorful, polished nails that many of the morgue staff remember. Because Hamas-led terrorists had not just executed these women, they had deliberately and systematically defiled them, as the most comprehensive account of the atrocity released by the Civil Commission today shows. And this is where it gets really brutal. So again, if you're weak of heart, maybe you want to turn it off. But I do think it's important for people to hear stuff like this. And again, I'm just going to read for a second. But it says, the terrorists shot their eyes, their faces, their breasts, and even targeted their most intimate parts to destroy their beauty and rob their loved ones of a final goodbye. Women were stripped, bound, burned. They were executed both during and after, assaulted amid a violent group in which 1,200 people were killed and 250 taken hostage. Heads were taken off, pelvic bones were shattered. Even after death, assault continued. A grotesque medieval obsession with organs pervaded the crime scenes, the Nova Festival, and the kibbutzim near Gaza. Now, for context of, if you haven't been watching me for very long, I've been to the Nova Festival. I was there when the hostages were released back in October of this past year in 2025. I've also been to the kibbutzim near Gaza. I have personally been to kibbutz Nir Oz and met with a lot of people there, met with a lot of survivors of October 7th. I've looked into Gaza from Nir Oz, and I have personally met with a lot of people who lost their family members in October 7th, and they've corroborated the things that we're reading in this article. Essentially, it goes on to talk about individual women who, again, it's not that they were just assaulted, but that they were tortured. And it's not that they saw their friends who were murdered. It's that they were murdered and then their body parts were mutilated afterward. And so I guess the reason why I share this is because there is a misunderstanding in the West, especially among the left, but some on the right, unfortunately, that the people in the Palestinian Authority or in Gaza are the same as you and I, that they have Western values, that they think the same way, that when we go to war with them, they're going to treat us the same way that we treat them. That is not true. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature. They are not the same. When we go to war and casualties happen, we do not mutilate the bodies of the people who died afterward. We do not do that. It is not reported. Israel does not do that. The United States does not do that. Hamas did that. I've included a link in the description to the full 180-page report. Again, I've included this because I think people need to understand why the U.S.-Israeli alliance is so important. I'm including it so people who think Israel is the instigator of this conflict can read another side of history. So if you're one of those people and you're watching this show, first off, I want to thank you for watching, because I know that I'm sharing a narrative that does not go in line with what you probably believe. But I invite you to read that page, those 180 pages report. Go read it, get another perspective, and see what you think afterward. I'm excited to partner with the Daily Wire. Real History with Matt Walsh is a Daily Wire Plus original series that confronts the lies used to rewrite America's past. They are really, really, really good. Each episode reinforces why parents cannot trust the textbooks in American schools today. Go check it out right now. I put a link at the top of the description below so you can see the series for yourself.